They say every hero's journey begins with an impossible feat, but believe me, when you hear the sharp crack of a rifle through the thin air of a mountain pass and see an enemy vehicle erupt in flames from nearly 4,000 meters away, that's not luck. That's Rhea Cole. She was the recruit no one believed would last a week at advanced tactical training. The one they ridiculed for picking the heavy-duty SRS .50 caliber when everyone said lighter rifles were better suited for women. Yep, that happened. But out on the range, Rhea didn't just break records, she obliterated expectations. But that victory was just a glimpse of a long, relentless journey that started much earlier. It all began with watching her father carefully clean his military rifle at their kitchen table, teaching her that precision isn't just about aiming, it's about control. Growing up in a small, dimly lit town near Fort Carson, she would disassemble firearms blindfolded by age 12. By 14, she was winning local shooting tournaments, often outclassing opponents twice her size. While most kids plastered their walls with pop star posters, Rhea hung up wind charts and bullet trajectories. Her father often reminded her, "Bullets don't care who pulls the trigger." Her father's voice echoed in her mind as he drilled her relentlessly, eyes, breath, trigger pull, again and again, until the motions became second nature. But high school was a different story. That's when the real pressure hit. Rhea boldly declared her desire to serve in the front line, not behind the scenes. The others scoffed. A female sniper in elite ops? Yeah, right, one instructor said. Rhea's response? Make room for dessert, sir. While in college, she focused on physics and meteorology, mastering the science of ballistics. As the only woman in the marksman club, Rhea learned how the very world around you can alter a bullet's trajectory. And every time a recruiter said, "No, thanks," she simply moved on to the next one, determined to prove them wrong. By the time she made it to basic training, she had heard "no" more times than some recruits had fired rounds. But when her first drill sergeant smirked, saying, "You won't last a week," Rhea crushed it, outlasting everyone, men included, in physical tests and acing the psychological evaluations. To Rhea, challenges were just variables to adjust for, just like calculating the perfect shot in a swirling wind. The day she barely snagged the last available spot at sniper school, it was her against a massive former soldier with a cocky grin. "Ladies first," he said with a smirk. Rhea fired 5 shots, setting a new course record. He shook her hand, mumbling, "Damn, Cole, I'll never doubt you again." Sniper school at Fort Brecklin was a brutal experience. The instructors were far from welcoming. On the first day, the old instructor, Sergeant Hargrave, locked eyes with her and said, "Only 3 of you will make it through. I'm looking at 2 right now." He completely ignored her. The room she was given barely passed for storage, but Rhea didn't let that bother her. She remembered what her dad had taught her: focus on what's important. Women have smaller lung capacity, Hargrave lectured during an early assessment. Science doesn't care about fairness. Rhea shot back, "Science also says smaller frames mean less barrel interference and lower resting heart rates." Hargrave scoffed. "Shooting paper is easy, but real combat isn't the same." Her response? "It's still math." Training was grueling: 50-pound packs, sleep deprivation, freezing water drills. By week 3, some of the men had already quit. Hargrave pushed Rhea harder and harder, expecting her to crack. Less water, more weight, shooting from exposed positions, but she didn't flinch. 36-hour stakes, burning sun, impossible shots. She didn't break, even when she used her scope to cast a shadow on the ground and landed a dead center shot. When Hargrave finally pulled her aside, his expression was different. "I served with your father in 03. He was the best I ever saw until now." For the first time, Hargrave admitted he was wrong. But the real world doesn't wait. Rhea's next challenge was Advanced Tactical Applications, a ghost course held in an isolated annex, designed to turn recruits into something beyond a sniper, forward observer, tactical asset, psychological weapon. Only 7 made it through, and Rhea, the only woman and youngest by 6 years, was one of them. Major Bishop, the program director, told them, "Forget everything you think you know. A sniper is more than just a shooter, they are a critical intel asset." They can stay so still that birds might land on them. Ria's small stature made her nearly invisible to thermal sensors, giving her an edge in detection. The first challenge took them to a rocky ridge with almost no cover. They had to stay hidden for 3 days with no sleep and minimal movement. Ria urinated in a bottle and let a scorpion crawl over her hand. On the final morning, with the sun directly in her scope, she made the shot. The evaluators watched the replay, their jaws dropping. "Did you carry all your gear up this cliff?" one asked. Ria simply shrugged. "I left it behind. Took only what mattered." The next test simulated high-altitude combat with oxygen running low. When the medic asked if she was okay, Ria said, "I'm fine," and squeezed the trigger between heartbeats. Her heart rate barely moved. "You're not like the other shooters, Cole," Major Bishop said. "You see the bigger picture." The final challenge was a combat simulation involving moving targets and hostage situations. With 35 miles per hour crosswinds and strict rules of engagement, most would have rushed and missed. But Ria waited, calculated, and took her shots, 3 perfect hits. Afterward, she was deployed immediately. Hargrave found her packing. "Some of the old guard will never accept you," he warned. She didn't even blink. "I don't need their approval. Just their trust." Ria's first real mission was Operation Ghostwatch. It was supposed to be a simple reconnaissance mission, but they discovered advanced missile systems on enemy ground. The orders changed: disable and extract. When her team leader looked at her, questioning if she could handle it, Ria calmly calculated the wind, distance, and angle. "Yes, sir," she nodded. She made 3 perfect shots, each hitting targets the size of a book, 700 meters away. As bullets hit the rocks around them and her team sprinted for extraction, Ria carried her teammates' gear without hesitation and scaled a vertical wall in the dark to get them to safety. Back at base, her team leader questioned why she hadn't destroyed the missile systems as planned. "There was a village nearby," she explained. "A secondary explosion would have wiped them out." After checking the intel, her leader nodded. "I underestimated you." Ria simply replied, "Most people do." News of the mission spread quickly. Colonel Pierce, a seasoned officer, told her, "You're ready for Redstone." At Redstone, that's where her story truly became legendary. The mission: take out a convoy with next-gen air defense systems. The target was nearly 4,000 meters away, across a canyon, at night, moving with unpredictable winds. Impossible? Not for Ria. She calculated the wind speed, temperature, and every variable, blocked out the nerves, and made the shot. 6 seconds later, the command vehicle exploded in a blaze of sparks. The entire convoy was neutralized, and Ria's shot made history. When the dust cleared, everyone, the generals, the skeptics, the veterans, could only say there was only a 12% chance. Ria called it certainty, but she didn't care for the praise. What mattered was that the mission was a success. Overnight, Ria went from curiosity to the gold standard in the field. She embraced the challenges, trained her body to adapt, and proved that luck had nothing to do with it. The old snipers who doubted her came around one by one, including her harshest critic, Hargrave. She didn't gloat, though. Instead, she kept perfecting her craft, breaking barriers, and welcoming anyone who wanted to debate ballistics. "I'm always here if you want to talk real shooting," she would say. When Redstone called her to lead Project Vanguard, developing new sniper training and doctrine for future recruits, even Colonel Weber, the last of the old guard, had to admit, limits are just suggestions. Ria didn't need speeches or statues. What she needed was to know that standards had changed and that every person, no matter who they were, could believe that the impossible was simply a problem waiting for the right mindset to solve it. Ria Cole's journey is a testament to the power of perseverance, precision, and refusing to accept the boundaries others try to impose. From her early days of watching her father break down rifles at the kitchen table to standing alone on a mountain ridge with a rifle that defied expectations, Ria redefined what it means to be an elite sniper. Her story challenges the notion that any dream is too impossible to reach, especially when the only limits are the ones we set for ourselves. In the world of snipers, where every shot is a calculated risk, Ria mastered the art of adapting to the variables. It wasn't about luck. It was about understanding every factor, learning to calculate each one, and then acting with the confidence that comes from meticulous preparation. Where others saw obstacles, Ria saw variables waiting to be adjusted. She learned to embrace the harshest conditions and outlast those who doubted her, proving that success isn't about never falling, but about getting back up and recalibrating when the shot doesn't go as planned. Her path wasn't easy. She faced ridicule, skepticism, and resistance at every turn, but it was through these challenges that Ria grew stronger. She turned every no into fuel for her fire, proving that resilience and determination are just as vital as skill. Whether it was in sniper school, during combat simulations, or in her real-world missions, Ria showed that trust in oneself is the most important factor in achieving greatness. It wasn't about winning the approval of others. It was about proving to herself that she could rise to every challenge. In the end, Ria's story is more than just about breaking records. It's about changing the standards entirely. She didn't need recognition or accolades. What mattered was knowing that she had shattered the glass ceilings that were meant to hold her back. The impossible was just another equation to solve. For every person who has ever been told they couldn't, Ria Cole stands as proof that with determination, precision, and a steady hand, even the most improbable goals can be achieved. So, what does it take to rewrite the rules? Is it breaking records, or is it never giving in when faced with adversity? Ria's story invites us to question the very limits of what we can achieve and challenge ourselves to aim higher, shoot farther, and never settle for anything less than our best.